All right, so next thing that happened, we get into season two. We say goodbye to, and this is something that I should have mentioned before. The opening, that first opening, fantastic. Even when I first saw it, I don't know why, but I had the biggest grin on my face. It's like it encompasses everything about the show, and even Izuku and him, idolizing All Might. At the beginning, he reaches out his hand, and like All Might, they got like his silhouette, and the light is coming off of him, and then like man, the opening, that first opening is really good, but getting into season two, that second opening is the best opening. I don't care what anyone says. That's the best opening, best song, best intro sequence. I freaking love it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to get that to the first season. I just want to see it too, season three. But I get what you're talking about. Especially the openings, like really like tell you everything you need to know. Like I think there's another thing that the show does really well is that Bones, the guys that do the animation and who also they have a long track record. I think they're the ones behind Full Metal Alchemist and Soul Eater. Yeah, it's them. It's them. So they have a long track record with making good openings. And this series is no different. Like these openings really convey like what you're in for, what you're about to watch, and myself even skipping these openings. Like when they came on, like when I got to the next episode or something, I barely like skipped like at all. Like if I'm being honest, because they were that good.
Yeah, I
And
barely like I never skip openings unless they're like terrible. Like Fairy Tail is an example of how not to do an opening. You just spoiled everything that happened in the arc. At least this show doesn't. Thank God this show doesn't do that.
fucking ecstasy with extra cheese over here.
For those of y'all who have not watched Fairy Tail, there's a song. I believe the name of the song is Rock City Boy. There's a line. Yes. There's oh my god, just watch that when you get a chance. But yeah. What the thing about the season 2 opening, well, the first one, it's so relaxed at the start of it, and they're just all scratching and stuff. You see them all scratching, and then all of a sudden it gets into the music starts, amping up, and then it's like fighting. We got Todoroki and Isuku. All of that is in there. It's a great opening. It's a great opening. I just thought I just mentioned that before we kind of really get into this. So sports festival, basically the tuning exams of this show, and with this,
they did it better.
Yeah, they did it much better. Because going into this, once again, hate to bring up Naruto, but I was thinking, because I remember I texted you, I'm like, is this going to be interrupted? Am I going to be able to see the entire thing play out? And you was like, well, you'll see. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'll see.
I said, I'm not going to tell you nothing. I ain't telling you nothing. Just watch
it. I said, okay. I'm hoping I get to watch all of it. It all plays out, and it did. And it played out in a way that was unexpected. First of all, I feel like a broken record. Everybody really had their moments. Just about everybody had their moments. And I'm trying to make sure that we don't miss anything going into this. And it's a shame my memory is so bad, even though I watched this season multiple times and just got done watching it yesterday. But
oh Lord.
But so first part of it was the obstacle course, right? And I love at the start of it, everybody's pushing each other and stuff, and even before that, Todoroki has his declaration of war against Deku, and everybody's like, yo, chill out, we're all friends here. And then it's like, nah, we all trying to be number one, we all trying to be heroes, man. Like, it's time out for all that friendship nonsense. Like, we trying to get scouted here, man. We trying to be sidekicks and then pro heroes and stuff. Like we trying to get some attention on us. And Todoroki, he has his own
up there in the crowd and everything. It's like they're being scouted. So if they like what they see, they're gonna hit them back. If they like what they see in this tournament, they're gonna be calling them for like an internship. So it's like they have to put on a show for these people almost. It's almost like, yeah, dance monkeys. Otherwise, we're not gonna call you at all.
Well, it's more the way that they kind of introduced this. They kind of made it seem like this is the replacement for the Olympics. That's
I can see what you mean here.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah,
I see what you mean here.
The obstacle course, just at the start of it, you know, Todoroki, he's in first at first he's in first, and he uses his ice powers and stuff, and then Bakugo, I believe it was Bakugo, Zero, and Momo, they all jump in. You know, everybody is rushing to get, you know, to take first place and everything in this obstacle course race. And of course, my boy Bakugo, your declaration of war was to the wrong person. You actually had faster. Like, I literally rewatched that scene so many times. It's like he is so self-centered. Like as soon as Todoroki, you know, as soon as he talked about, like, as soon as he talked to Deku, you know, before everything happened, and he did his whole declaration of war, you know, they cut to Bakugo, and he just looks over at him. It's like, it's not all about you, man. It's not all about
Vegeta
you.
Vegeta has nothing on this, man. Nothing on this kid, man. I'm telling you. Like, even Vegeta would probably be like, damn, even I'm not that self-absorbed. Jesus.
But yeah,
it's amazing.
So
it's amazing.
So the robots come in, you know, the 0 Point robots that were in the entrance exams. They
oh yeah, real quick though. Momo even mentioned something about this, like when the robots show up. I think she said something along the lines of, how did the school even have funding for this?
Yeah, that happened so many times. That happened so many times in the series where, like, there's these big things, like, this would cost so much. How are y'all funding all this different stuff?
This is where Japanese tax dollars go to. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to bring that up, though.
It's cool. So Izuku, at a certain point, you know, they get past the robots and everything, and once again, being smart, I love the strategy in the show when it comes to just a lot of these situations. This man, once they get to the mine, well, let me back up. You know, before the minefield, there was the part of the obstacle course where they had to jump from the different platforms and stuff. And then another one of my favorite characters introduced, Mei Hatsume, comes in there from the support group.
Oh my god, yeah.
Introduces everybody to her babies. Gliding over.
Oh my god.
Allowing her to glide over the obstacles and everything. So yeah, gotta mention that. Definitely had to mention that.
You were putting her over. You were texting me like, why isn't more emphasis on her? We need more of this character. Yeah, but she's awesome though. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna. She's the number one where it's like, oh my god, another show stealer that you done put in here. But go ahead.
It's not like she has a useless quirk either. Like, she's able to see from far. Like, she's able to, what is it? She's able to, like, zoom in or, like, see from far away or whatever. Like, I can see where that can be useful. Just like the Invisible Girl, Toru, I can see where her quirk can be useful too. It's not like her quirk is like terrible. Like she couldn't be, you know, somebody that can, like, I don't know, help with like scouting or something, you know, in a situation where where a hero might need to scout a compound or something. But yeah, Deku, you know, later on after that part, we got Izuku basically in the minefield, taking all the mines and stuff. He grabbed a piece off of one of the robots, off of one of the 0 Point robots, and while he's doing that, you know, he's taking up the mines and stuff. Jiro's just looking at him. It's like, what are you doing? And it's like, why do you have that? But yeah, he was smart. Because he didn't even have to use his quirk the whole time. He shows how, that's another thing I love about the character. Is like, he shows how resourceful he is. Because he took all those mines and basically, you know, used them to propel him all the way to the front. And then, not only that, you know, Bakugo, by that time, Bakugo and Todoroki, they were fighting while being in first and second place. They were steadily trying to get past each other and one up each other while in the minefield. And one of the things that All Might says afterwards, he was like, or he doesn't say it, but he thinks it. He's like, I was afraid of your, I forgot the word they used, but he was basically afraid that Midoriya would be like he's not cutthroat enough to basically, and I'm just paraphrasing, but he's not cutthroat enough to try to, you know, get over on his classmates or other people. Like, he's too, for lack of a better word, he's like too soft-hearted. Like, he wouldn't, like, he's not gonna like walk over somebody for the sake of, you know, this competition or whatever. But he surprises All Might when he slams down the piece of the robot that he got. He slammed that down, and that caused the mines that were under Todoroki and Bakugo. It caused those things to explode, and that propelled them even further to the front. And that's how.
Yeah, that was that was amazing, though. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Ida wasn't like at the end just waiting. Didn't just like speed past everybody, but then again the minefield and everything was like,
yeah, because
I'm just shocked that he wasn't.
But there were more mines in the front, and of course he can't, like, if he's running fast, then it's like he might have accidentally set off a bunch of mines though.
Again, true, but the way that Midoriya like got in front of them and everything, and even Bug was like, what the fuck is this shit? And also the fact that, oh my god, Todoroki, like this, I would say the part 1 of season 2 is his arc. I would say that this is his arc because, yeah, there was some emphasis on him in season 1, but it isn't until here where he actually like calls out Deku and is like, you're my rival. You're the one I want to beat. You're on my list now. I'm giving everybody a list now. I've noticed. I'm giving everybody a list. I'm giving everybody a damn list now. But that's basically how that went. How this went. I think, wasn't this after Midoriya won, and everyone was kind of like, this before or after?
No, it was before. It was before. If you're talking about when he was like, if you're talking about when he kind of like called him out and stuff, that was before. If you're not talking about when he like took him to the side or whatever, actually that's afterwards when he took him to the side. You know, that was afterwards when he took him to the side and talked about his, you know, the thing with his father or whatever. But before we get into that, oh no, go ahead.
Before that, it was the next challenge with the whole team up thing, and let's talk about that real quick.
Hold on.
Because
one last thing I wanted to talk about with the obstacle course, and it's just a small thing. I was like, okay, like when I get to the part where, you know, Hatsume is introduced and they got to jump on all these platforms and stuff. Suyu, she's using her powers as a frog. She's using her quirk to jump, hop around and everything. And I believe there's a point where like there was a tightrope or something else. Maybe I'm getting that confused with another part of the show. But why in the world didn't Ochaku just float herself? That's the whole time I'm like, why didn't you just float yourself instead of just standing there like that? But I don't know, just a small thing I wanted to kind of put out there. But go ahead.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know why she didn't do that. I guess the risk of throwing up a lot.
I mean,
I guess.
I don't think it would have really. I don't think it would have exerted her powers that much.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good point out though. But after Midoriya wins and it's like everyone starts to file in after all that, and we're introduced to Midnight. We're really introduced to Midnight. And Minetta's going like, oh my God. I don't know who it was, Akira Shima or someone said something about her outfit or some shit.
Nah, it was
someone called her old at one point.
So hold on. I think it was before when you're talking about a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago, whatever, you talked about Shoto taking Izuku to the side, talking about his the things that's happening with his father or whatever. I believe that was directly afterward, directly after the obstacle course. And the only thing I would like to say about that is just the fact that, well, I guess I can save all that stuff for later. Go ahead, continue. I just save it for later because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to him. So I'll save it for later. But basically, the gist of that situation is he basically confronted Deku because he wanted to know if All Might was his father, because he noticed a lot of stuff. Started to really notice a lot of stuff when it came to him. He noticed that their quirks are similar, and he tells Deku about his father and how he doesn't use his other side or whatever. But yeah,
basically, Endeavor's a piece of shit. We get a glimpse of how much of a piece of shit Endeavor is. It isn't until later on when these two fight. What?
I got some words. I said I got some words about him later.
Yeah. I'm gonna really dig into him too, along with you in a minute when we get to that fight, and I'm gonna throw in a Naruto wrench in there later on too, where it's like, this is how you fucking do flashbacks. This is how you fucking do it. This is how you do it. You see, it didn't even take that long. Do you see? You see this shit? It didn't take up 22 minutes. It didn't take up 22 minutes. It took 2 minutes. I'll get to that though. I will get to that though. That's just a glimpse of how I felt about that whole how they did that flashback. But till then, stage 2 of the tournament. Basically, since Midoriya won, and basically it's he has the most points. It's basically he has the most points. Now they all have to grab headbands off of people who are who came in who ranked the highest. And since he ranked the highest, he has the most points. And now they have to be in teams of 3.
I love that part where it's by the end of the episode, he's like, so this is how it feels to be on top. Hey, All Might. And then everybody, they showed that little, I guess you could call it a silhouette or whatever. Everybody looking at him with their eyes glowing.
Everybody turned on his ass right then. Even Chaco, everybody. I'm like, y'all really are some fucking snakes right now. Y'all some
so
damn
that's how
snakes.
It feels to be on top. Hey, All Might.
He's like, I don't want this anymore. I don't want people gunning for me
nobody wants to be on his team because it's we can go after you and just steal your points. Why would we want to, it's not really helping us out.
Basically, everyone has that mindset. pretty much. So, who does his team consist of again? Like I know Bird Boy, Tokoyami. Go ahead.
Oh, Hatsume, Tokiyomi, Ochaku, and I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. It was Ochaku.
It was those guys.
Hatsume and Tokiyami. It's those three.
Yeah.
And then Bakugo's team. So of course Kirishima comes over. It's like, yeah, let's get this Bakugo. Let's get this win. He's like, oh yeah, we're going for the top.
And I think everyone wanted to be on his team because of how he is, and then it was like he'll be gunning for the top anyway. And everybody's like, he's like, I don't even know any of you people.
Oh yeah, he's like, okay. What did he say? He's like,
the fuck are you people?
He's like, tell me your quirks and tell me what your names are again.
Like, we're in your class. It's like he's that up his own ass.
I told you this man is self-centered.
Up his own ass.
Everybody else is extras. He refers to so many people as extras so many times in this. Maybe not in the first. Well, I think even in the first season he says it. I know in the third season he says it multiple times, man. Like, he said it so many times, just called them extras. Matter of fact, in the second season he even does call some people extras. But it was either the second or first season. But regardless, he calls people extras all the time, man. Like, but his team consists of so it's him, Ashido, Siro. Who else? Is Ashido, Siro, Kirishima. Yeah, and I think that was it.
I think he just called Mina like Pinky.
Raccoon
Pinky.
Eyes. He called it Raccoon Eyes. So there's a point.
Raccoon Eyes, yeah.
And that's what I was trying to save until now. That's what I was trying to save. I was like, yo, so there's a point where there's a character, and I need to actually look the guy's name up. But there's a character that's in class 1B, and he has the ability to take your quirk and use it for I think it was up to 5 minutes or something like that. But he can only use one at a time. And he ends up taking
his ass.
He ends up taking Bakugo's headband. And Bakugo just gets pissed off. He's like, Kirishima, we have a change of plans. Before we kill Deku, we gotta kill this guy. And so he goes after them. He goes after this guy from 1B, and I'm gonna look up his name right quick. And he tells Mina to basically, he's like, Raccoon Eyes, use your acid. And she's like, my name is Mina Ashido. He's like, tape guy, use your tape or whatever. He's like, my name is Siro. Like, the dude don't be, he's in his old world and these characters barely exist.
Exactly. That is the most amazing thing. It's like when he has to actually interact with these people, it's like, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hysterical. And when this dude fucking comes up and steals their power, I'm like, oh no, man, don't make yourself a target, you idiot. It's amazing, how he starts out, right? And he just becomes more, I don't know what it is, intellectually damaged, and he starts still calls them shit, even though he's in remedial class with him and shit. And I'm just like, something's really fucked up with him. Something's truly fucked up with him.
Okay, so the name of the guy that basically was taking Bakugo, he took Bakugo and Kirishima's powers. His name is Nato, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, Nato Monoma. And his quirk is copy. I just wanted to make sure. Just had to make sure
Copyright
I got
infringement.
the name and everything. But yeah, that guy is a jerk. Uh, he's definitely a jerk, and everybody hates him. They end up everybody in Class 1A pretty much hates that guy after after what he did there, and then of course, but before I want to say before the exam started, you remember, all the students were like outside. I believe that happened. I believe that actually happened before the exams and everything. Everybody was outside of their door, and everybody was just looking at Class 1A, and yeah, that was the moment when Bakugo called them all extras.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was at the beginning. Yeah, oh my God, that's right. You're all a bunch of extras. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm a face, basically. So
And everybody else in the class is like, man, shut up, Bakugo. We're not they like he just painted a target on everybody's back, basically.
and the reason that they all went after them in the first place because they all fought villains. They all fought like legit villains in season one.
Yeah,
And this is immediately right after that. So it's like,
oh no, go ahead.
this is like immediately like what, a week, 2 weeks after the fact, after what went down with Shigaraki, and it's just like that they know about them, about Class 1A, Class 1B is like, oh yeah, y'all ain't shit, and then Bob goes all like, well, y'all definitely ain't shit. Y'all can call us not shit. You ain't shit. I'm gonna beat all y'all's ass.
Oh, and man, I forgot one thing we forgot to mention. And apologies for being so scatterbrained with this, y'all, but there's a lot. So one thing we forgot to mention at the start of the sports festival, Bakugo, he got his chance to speak because what was he, like top of the class or something like that? But he basically got his chance to speak, and he just goes up to the podium. He's just like, I just want to say, I'm going to win. This man, like, that had me dying, man. Like, he's just so freaking overconfident, man. But I just died out. Like, I had to definitely mention that because, hey, he won, but he didn't win the way that he wanted to win, of course. But he did set out to do what he set out to do. But getting back to the cavalry, and we should have said this. It is the cavalry battle that we're basically talking about now.
Oops.
Yeah, we should have said that, but we basically talking about the cavalry battle. With this, it's crazy that, and dang, I should have mentioned this earlier, but with Ochaku and Hatsume, so like when they first, when they first formed the team and stuff, and Hatsume goes up there because she knows that Deku has the most points and stuff, and so she, like, in her mind is like, I'm gonna get the most shine if I team up with y'all. So Hatsume shows up and asks to be on the team and shows Deku her gadgets, her babies, and everything. And this is the first time we notice that Ochaku is getting jealous. And I didn't notice this the first time around when I first watched it. Because after seeing season 3, when I saw season 3, that was the time where I first noticed that she was getting jealous around, when Hatsume is around Deku. Like, that was just something that I just did not notice at first. Just little stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Like, I don't even exist right now.
But was that?
Okay, so after, just to get back on track. So Todoroki, everybody's gunning for Deku in the beginning. They're using their quirks to kind of basically run away. Their strategy is to run away, beat out the clock, make sure nobody gets Deku's points. basically. And so
Yeah.
after that, after a few minutes or whatever, we got Todoroki finally confronts him, and Todoroki's team consisted of Momo, Ida, Katamari, and yeah. That was it. That was it. So just those four. And so,
And even Snake.
we'll see. And that's how I like the fact that he's like, man, because at first, Izuku and Ochako, they wanted Ida to be on the team because Izuku, he came up with a plan. He's like, I think Ida would be perfect for this team, but unfortunately, he's like, listen, I see you as a rival. I see you as a rival now. That's not something to be like. Don't take it the wrong way, but I see you as a rival, and I want to be a number one hero too. So I gotta be against you on this one. And
I get it.
Go it.
I absolutely understand though. There's like you can't really play favorites when you're trying to get yourself over. You're trying to get yourself over, and it's like you just painted the target, a big ass target on your back. You're trying to make yourself look good, and friend or not, I'm gonna make my own self look good. Friend be damned. I gotta go after you. I gotta go after you. It's as simple as that. And I like how that's pretty much established the minute Midnight puts him like on blast. So it's like, Midoriya went. Since Midoriya won the last round, he has the most points. You guys gotta go back to his headband. Boom, target on his back.
I mean, 1A, like we mentioned before, 1A were already targets, but then now he's just like the main target for everybody.
It's specifically him now.
And so Ida uses a move that he's been hiding from everybody, or like he hasn't told anybody about his reciprocal burst or whatever. So he uses that, and Todoroki grabs the headband off, and then because they only got, I want to say by the time that happened, they had like, I think it was like halfway done or whatever. That event was like halfway done. So after that point, they're trying to rush to get their headband back. And after that, not Todoroki, Fumikage, he, after Deku uses not all for one for all, uses his quirk to basically slice the air, and Todoroki accidentally uses his fire side. He always says that he doesn't fight using his fire side because of his father. And long story short, they end up getting Fumikage ends up getting one of the points, one of the headbands and stuff, without Izuku knowing. And meanwhile, while all this is happening, Izuku is battling Shoto and his team. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Bakugo's going around, and he was trying to get his points back from dude from Class 1B. And I love the fact that, because we didn't talk about this at like the beginning, basically they launched Bakugo off, and he's flying through the air, and this is while his team is like up in the air because of Hatsume's gear and Ochaku's quirk. They got them up in the air, and so Bakugo is trying to fight them in the air, and then when Bakugo can't succeed at getting Deku's headband, and I apologize, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but basically, I thought that was kind of cheap that they allowed him to, jump off of his team and then jump back, and Sero just uses tape to bring him back. I thought that was kind of cheap, because Midnight allowed it. She said as long as he doesn't hit the ground. But I said that's kind of cheap.
still work.
It's like, hold on, this man is allowed to fly through the air while everybody else can like stay on the ground or whatever. And another team that we gotta talk about, Mineta. So Mineta, Asui, and Shoji on one team. Say what you want about Mineta, and actually I guess he's technically smart. He's just a crybaby and a pervert, but he was smart in the sense that him and Asui were hiding. They were hiding in Shoji, basically using his quirk to kind of shield them, and they allowed that also, which was smart. I don't know who Toru was with. Can you remember?
Not for the life of me.
Yeah, I don't know who she was with. And then of course Tailman, Ojiro, the guy with the tail, he was with what's his name, Shinzo, something like that, who was from the general studies course, and he ended up dropping out afterwards. But basically I think I covered just about everything that happened in this particular event. Is there anything that I might have missed or anything you wanted to add so we can kind of get the ball rolling, kind of move past this?
Nah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with this. It's like basically the cavalry battle was like really, really good. Like overall, this was a really good like part 2 to the tournament before they actually go like, okay, here's where shit starts really. This was really like tuning exams, like we're in the tuning exam stage with the final round. So go ahead.
Yeah, but so the last thing I'll say about this, and they did make a point to say like this was the reasoning behind the cavalry battle, is because heroes are going to have to, like, once these kids become pro heroes, they're going to have to work with each other. When they sign to an agency or whatever, there's going to be times when the heroes going to have to work together when something happens, and we see that throughout the series. So that's why they had the cavalry battle, so that these people are working together, these students are working together with people that they wouldn't necessarily work together with. In the case of Tailman, well, I keep calling him Tailman, but in the case of Ojiro, he worked with somebody that wasn't, that wasn't in his class, and even Izuku, obviously, with working with somebody that's in the support course. They're working with different people, and they're seeing how their quirks can work together, and that was something that they mentioned in the show. Everybody's quirks, the quirks will, like, certain quirks will complement each other, and that was the point of the event. So I thought this was a very, very good, very fun to watch thing, very intense. And another sort of issue that Izuku had to overcome in this particular also is the fact that, hey, he was trying to make sure that he don't end up accidentally killing Shoto or anything like that, because again, this, like, at this point in the series, he doesn't have full control over his quirk. He doesn't have full control over it. So, like, when I mentioned earlier about him slicing the air, that's basically what he was doing. He's trying to make sure that he, like, doesn't kill dude or whatever, because he's just trying to get his headband back. And so after this, after it's announced who won and everything, and Deku thinks that he let everybody down. He let Hatsume down, he let All Might down, Ochaku, everybody on his team or whatever. He's like, man, I'm sorry, I let y'all down. And then Hatsume, she's more concerned about her babies, about her gear. But she's, like, looking down and trying to fix her gear and everything. But her and Ochaku already saw Tokiyami take the headband and everything, because he thinks, okay, yeah, man, we're dead last. Like, we have 0 points. But it turns out that Tokiyami ended up taking end up taking Shoto's headband when Izuku attacked Shoto. And it's funny because my man was crying a fountain, and then as soon as he was done, and like all the water's on the ground, so Mineta comes by and he looks down and he's like, "It's just pee. It's just pee." Like I was dying laughing, bro. It's like, hold on, is this pee? Like this show is so funny. It's so just goofy. Like the characters, the way that they make them so expressive. Like man, but I definitely had to mention that because that had me rolling yesterday. It's like, hold on, is this pee? And I can see why you would think that because like all this water, it's like this man crying so much.
I don't think he's got that bad that he pissed himself, dude. But I get it.
Okay, so after that, now we're getting into the one-on-one fights, and then of course Ojiro and somebody from class, I believe it was either class 1B or I think it was somebody from the support support group or whatever. But basically 2 people dropped out, and that allowed Tetsu from 1B and the chick with the plant hair, Ibaro. Is it? Hold on. Let me see if I can pronounce this name. Ibara Shiozaki. I'm just going to say Shiozaki because that's easier to pronounce. Those 2, they were able to get into the other round, the next round. And so now we're getting into the fights. We're getting into the good stuff. We're getting into that. So now the first fight was against Shinzu, I believe that was the guy's name with the quirk, the brainwashing quirk. Let me just look at it to make sure.
Yeah.
I know it started with an S. Yeah, it's Shinzo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So Shinzo versus Midoriya. And throughout this fight, and so let me back up. So Ojiro tells him beforehand, listen.
Oh my God.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. I know exactly where you're going with this. You go ahead.
So Ojiro tells him, okay, Deku, don't speak to this man. Don't speak to him because that's how he got me with his quirk. Don't do it. Don't answer any questions from this dude. Just fight. What's the first thing this man does? Just because Shinzo talks about Ojiro and the other dude dropping out. Don't you talk about Ojiro like that? Ooh, man. Now he's brainwashed. Now you got yourself brainwashed. You almost lost the first match. He almost had Deku walking out of the ring on his first match. This man was about to lose his first match so easily. But he was able to see his predecessors, and he was able to move his fingers and use his quirk to basically snap himself out of it. And of course, because Shinzo didn't have any combat training, he couldn't defend himself. So he was done for. Like, there was nothing Shinzo could really do. And something I like about what they did with Shinzo, they gave him a brief little flashback of him. I guess that was him at like middle school, before he made it in the UA. And he's talking about, okay, this is like, everybody thinks I'm gonna be a villain. Everybody thinks that, oh, I can do all these bad things with these powers. I don't have any intention on brainwashing people and making them do, bad things or whatever. Like, people are so, and they almost made it seem like people in his class were like, I don't want to say necessarily afraid of him, but like they were trying to make sure that they get on his good side so that he doesn't brainwash them to do bad things. And I like the like I said this again, it's the characterization. Like, he's a good character. I mean, as brief as we've gotten, as brief, because we didn't even get that much from this dude. But the little bit that we got from him, and the little bit that they showed him, that they showed from him and his flashback, you can tell. Like, I think, man, even this fight was good. Even this fight is good, and even this character was good. But what did you think? Because I'm just talking a lot about this fight, and I didn't really give you a chance to really chime in on that. So, go ahead.
I enjoyed it, but I thought, as smart as Deku is supposed to be, he almost fucking lost because he basically almost lost because he went against what Jill just said. Don't talk to this man. Don't you not say anything to this man. You do it anyway. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you trying to get eliminated? But after, like, I don't know, like, in One for All, like, I guess it was the former users of the power, I guess, reside in him or something. I don't know what the fuck that was. Like it breaks
it was like, I believe it's something like Avatar. If you remember Avatar: The Last Airbender, where like he went,
the Avatar state,
he went to the Avatar state or whatever, and then he's like able to see the other past avatars or whatever. I think it's something like that, which is pretty cool.
It's a nice little, like, if it isn't a nod, but if it is, it's like, okay, you have quality for your shit, dude. I like your style, but yeah, that helps him break out of the mind control. And once he does, it's like, what the fuck? How the hell did you do this?
Well, All Might makes it a point, afterwards to say that, hey, it wasn't them that did it. You did that. Your will and determination. That's what allowed you to move your fingers, even ever so slightly. Give yourself energy, put it toward those two fingers, and snap yourself out of the brainwashing. So All Might made a point to say that, like, whatever that was, because I've seen that too, but whatever that was, that didn't help you out.
So yeah, after that. I'm trying to beat the shit out of each other. You still try to throw Midori out. Oh. Midori turns the tables. He wins. Yeah, go MC. I did like this fight. I did like his character. And I did like Chizo's character in this. So yeah, first match, good match. I think the next one is the belly button dude versus Mina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think
so. So. Hold on. So before that, because I keep it like, apologies, everybody, apologies. But before that, I forgot to mention one other thing. So like when they see everybody who's matched up, they look at the board, they see who they're matched up against. So Bakugo looks up. He's like, Ochaku, who the heck is that? I'm sorry, I had to mention that because it's like. And, like, she's standing behind him. She's like, what? I'm in your class. But that's just another instance. I just had to mention that. But that's just another instance of this dude just being in his own world. This is another instance of, like, everybody else just don't matter. Like, Ochaku, who the heck is that? But, so
I round face, as he calls her.
Actually, I'm trying to think. Was Sero the next fight? Or maybe it was Mina.
Oh, man, I think the Mina versus Belly Button was next. Yeah. And let me just say this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Was?
No, go ahead.
It was?
Let's just go with that because I can't remember. It's a shame I can't remember because, like I said, I just watched this recently.
You just watched
I got the worst memory, man. But yeah,
it's fine. I'll go off it. Let me just talk about this, and let me just say, like, how much Mina does, like, really do need some more character emphasis. Like, her acid, it's cool because it's a nod to Aliens. It's a nod to the Alien franchise. Like, that's where her power comes from. The acid, what she does and shit. That's a nod to Aliens. I like that. I also love the fact that she completely just obliterated this dude with one uppercut. One
Well, that's not
uppercut
hard
knocked
to do.
his ass out.
Like that man's a joke. I mean, he's a joke. I'm sorry to say it, but Ayama's a joke.
Still, that knocked his ass out. Now this makes me wonder, like, how much you bench, how much you got in them, how much strength you got in them arms. Like, really? Let me see how much strength you really got. It's more of a line like that, because they knocked his ass out. One. Like, Saitama, watch out! We got someone about to take your spot.
Like I said, he wasn't really a challenger to her though.
I know he's a joke. I know his whole thing, he's a joke character. I get it, but still, it still stands though.
As a matter of fact, I think actually I was right. I think the next fight was Shoto. I think that was the next fight. Cause I'm just looking it up here. I think that was, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna get through all of them anyway.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all he does is just like ice wall his ass.
Yeah, he's like
ice wall. That's it.
He's so angry about his father. He's like, you gotta win, Shoto, and you gotta use your fire quirk and all that. And it's just like he gets so angry that he uses his ice power. He goes overboard. He was fighting against Sero, the tape guy, and Sero loses, and then everybody in the audience is like, good job, good try, trying to cheer him up and everything.
I'd be like, you better stuff your pity right now. I got destroyed. Don't you say shit to me. Don't you soften the blow. I got wrecked. Okay. So yeah. Mina kicked Joke Boy's ass. Shoto kicked Sero's ass with just a giant ass ice wall. So yeah, those two matches are done. Like, so it's not really much to say.
And so the next one was Denki versus the chick with the plant hair. I believe that's what it was.
Oh my God, Denki, you fucking retard.
And they made a point to say that I believe his powers was gonna be useless against her anyway.
This is true. Yeah, the electricity don't work against plants. So
but
I guess Cole McGrath would lose against Poison Ivy.
Well, like, either way, he shouldn't have used all his energy in one go. Like, that's how she really got him. You know, like, after he used one attack, he's like, oh yeah, and once again, flirting with another girl, being full on Yamcha. How about we go out after this? But for right now, you're about to lose very quickly. And I'm just paraphrasing right now, obviously, but okay, so the next thing that happened, we got Mei versus, or I should say Hatsume. We have Hatsume versus Tenya, and of course she tricks him. And obviously, like, when it comes to Tenya, he's very gullible, and she basically lets him use one of her babies, one of her, you know, her gear, and Midnight allows him to use her gear because obviously they had to fill out an application. That's why Ayama was able to use his belly button thing for his belly button beam thing. But basically with this fight, she basically stole the entire spotlight, and the whole match was basically just for her to promote her babies. Like, man, I love this freaking character. Like, only she would do something like this. So basically the whole match for like 10 minutes. For 10 whole minutes, she just goes on about all of her different gadgets that she made, and she uses her quirk to look at the people in the stands, the investors or whatever. And the investors are intrigued by all of the stuff that she's talking about, that she made and everything. And then when she's done, she just steps out. She basically just steps out of the ring and gives Ida the match.
Was that hilarious?
Yeah, I was dying laughing. Yeah, Ida was pissed off because obviously he got used, and I could tell like if they ever do, if they ever do another sports festival arc, and like later on, like they gotta make sure that that's like something like that's against the rules to have a mic. But yeah, so after that, now this is the fight you were talking about earlier. Mina Ashido versus Ayama. That was the next fight. But
How is that fight?
Yeah, so we already covered that earlier by mistake, kind of. So we can kind of skip over that. We already know that she used we basically covered that earlier about her using her acid quirk, and then she uppercuts him and everything. So we talked about that. Fumikage versus Momo. Now this was something like I was prepared for a longer fight, and I was prepared for Momo to actually just show off how good she is.
Yeah.
So it surprised me because given the fact that from day one she showed that she's smart, and we should also mention that her and Shoto, they were the ones that got in under recommendations, and with her she's like one of the smartest people in the class, and she, like you can tell she has everything down pat when it comes to I guess you can say the dairy, like the dairy and the how do I say this? Like, well, she basically has everything down pat in dairy. Like, she knows how to kind of like get around a scenario. Cause like even in the middle of the fight, when she's fighting Fumikage, she's thinking so much, but that was a downside to her. That ended up being the reason that she lost it, because she's just overthinking. She's not reacting. And while Fumikage is using Dark Shadow to attack her, she's just using her shield. She's not noticing that she's being backed up, like she's being knocked back, and to the point where she doesn't even realize that she lost the match, and that she didn't even get a chance to do anything. Like her character definitely surprised me.
Because basically you have she has, well, let's just say for what it is. I'm gonna say for what it is anyway. She basically has alchemy. She basically has like what probably the equivalent of what Edward Elric would have in this show, and you do nothing to actually actually show it off because you overthink everything, and that was to her detriment. And she got wrung out like that easily. So it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest, because you do kind of expect more from Momo.
Yeah, and I like the fact that even though she's smart and she could really, strategize or whatever, and she can like make anything with her quirk, I like the fact that her flaw with her character is that you overthink too much and you're unsure about yourself. And that's why, like, once we get to season 3, once we get to season 3, she, like, her character arc, like, she grows as a character by then. But at this point, she was just flabbergasted about how, like, she lost so quickly. And then, of course, after that was the redundant fight. It was a very redundant fight of two redundant quirks, Ijiro and Tetsu. Those two fighting it out, and of course that ended in a draw. I don't know why there's two, like, I don't know why, like, why would y'all put these two characters together? So they had
I
such
don't.
similar quirks. But that fight
I
was. Oh, go ahead.
have no idea, to be honest.
But yeah, they
It's
ended up.
funny.
Go ahead.
Oh no! It's funny. It's funny. That's all I said. Go
Uh,
ahead.
so like they ended up being friends. They ended up bonding and stuff after that. They did because they, in order to decide who was gonna advance to the next round, they had to do a arm wrestling contest, and Kirishima ends up winning, and that placed them in the next round. Now we get to the next round, and it all comes down to Ochaku. Well, actually, no. I think the last fight was with Ochako and Katsuki. Yeah, it was. So Bakugo versus Ochaku. I believe that was the last fight, and everybody.
This.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Now this surprised the hell out of me. Yeah, everyone. Let me guess what you were gonna say. Everyone immediately thought this was a mismatch because they already know how Bakugo is at this point, and it's like, yeah, he's gonna fucking tear Oshako apart. Like no one expected her to even like come out ahead or anything like that. So when she actually like gives him trouble, even he's shocked by this. It's like this particular moment is where it's even more of an apparent they got. It's more evident that Ochako, when she's pushed enough, is a character that's really, really going to be a force to be reckoned with. She already was, except this fight is like, oh yeah, she definitely should be taken as a threat because no one expected this. She gave Bakugo a hard time, and Bakugo's is like playing the role of like she should be taken seriously. She should not be written off like you all writing her off as. And that's why he's getting booed. He's getting booed at this point.
Yeah, because they make a point. Well, go ahead. I didn't mean to talk over it.
No. Go ahead.
Now, well, they make a point to say that he knows that she belongs here. She made it this far. He knows that she belongs here because she made it this far, and he's not gonna go easy on her. And everyone else booing, the people booing in the stands and stuff, and even President Mike saying that he was biased, that he wants Ochaku to win. And then Aizawa was just like, yo, who said that in the stand? You need to hang up your cape. Stop being a hero if this bothers you. And he makes a good point, because it's like, first of all, if she's going up against a villain in real, well, like if she's going up against a villain, they're not gonna go easy on her because she's a girl.
Exactly.
And also, just in the case of like competition and stuff, and Aizawa makes the point, like, again, Katsuki knows that she belongs there. It is a sign of respect for him to take her seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like everybody else in the class is like, man, I can't watch this. Like Jiro covers her face because she's like, man, I can't watch this. And then Minetta's like, I knew Katsuki Bakugo was a sadist. So like they all knew, they were all really like, yo, she don't stand a chance. And he actually gives her a chance to surrender, or a chance, well not to surrender, but to forfeit the match at the beginning. Because he's like, listen, if you don't forfeit this match, I'm going to go all out. Because he said it before, he said it multiple times. He wants to be the most, he wants to make sure that nobody can dispute this. I'm the greatest. I won this thing. I won this whole competition. He wants to be the undisputable champion. He said that when he said that during the cavalry fight, and then he basically was saying that to Todoroki once their fight, because that was his thing with Todoroki. But we'll get to that also. But with this fight with Ochaku versus Bakugo, here's what I'll say. Once again, I gotta tip my hat to the writer, because here's the thing. The closest analog I can give, or the closest parallel, whatever I can give to Ochaku is Sakura. Cause to be honest, Sakura, like in her fight, like, yo, all the freaking time, she never really shined as a child, and even as an older teenager, and then being an adult, she was always in the shadow of Sasuke and Naruto. And even in this, Ochaku makes a point to say, before the match, she's like, yo, I feel kind of terrible because Ida said, hey, Deku, we're rivals. I'm gonna beat you in this competition. And she admits that she was basically leaning on Deku in order to win the cavalry battle. That she was actually relying on him. So she felt kind of bad about that. She's like, no, we're rivals. I'm coming from that number one spot too. We're rivals, even me and you, Deku. So during that fight, she cause she could have taken Deku's advice, but she decided not to. She did all that. She was the one that was smart enough to stay low to the ground so that Bakugo will end up while he's attacking, he's stirring up all this debris or whatever. When it comes to the stadium, he's stirring up all these different pieces of the cement stadium, and she ended up using that to her advantage and basically creating a meteor storm or whatever. And she was trying to just get in close, because if she could have touched him and made him float, it would have been over for him. And she showed during that match that she's formidable. She's smart. She can think. She knows how to fight, and she can take some hits. But Sakura barely showed that. Like a lot of the characters in Naruto, to make the comparison, just like they didn't do that with the females. And so I like that they can do that with this character that seems very, and this is the words that they use, like she seems very frail. She's very frail, very weak. But even at this moment in the show, they showed that she's still a character that you can root for. She's still powerful and she's still powerful and capable in her own right.
I have nothing to add to that. You're right. I have nothing.
Oh no, go ahead. I was about to hand it back to you because I know I was talking a lot.
No, man. Like you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like, and I know like the Sakura comparisons were going up in there like during season 1. So I think when this happened, it's like, yeah, y'all need to stop comparing these two, because Horikoshi actually knows what the hell he's doing with his female characters. So yeah,
she's
and
not
especially
trying
how
to fight somebody over another man at a young age.
Yep.
I said she's not trying to fight somebody over a young man, because remember Ino and Sakura, they were basically fighting, because they're always fighting over who's gonna be with Sasuke.
And he didn't want either of y'all to begin with. So I don't know. That was just funny to me. Anyway, yeah, nothing else to add. Like this really made Ochako like really stand out to me, like even more so. And against Bakugo, like props, like mega props for that. Like she went up against Bakugo knowing she was gonna lose, but she gave it her all anyway. And you got respect out of Bakugo, which is something that he doesn't do. It's just something he doesn't do on a daily. So it's like you get respect from his egocentric ass. It's like, yeah, I kind of won. In a sense, I did win. Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I love that moment. Like after the match, she after she talks to Deku and everything, she's on the phone with her father, and that's something else. Cause I guess it kind of ties back to what I said about earlier about the characters like just like feeling realistic and stuff. Like they got parents that care about them, that are around, that are alive and stuff. And like her motivation for being a hero is to help her parents out. It's not no selfish type of thing or whatever. Yeah, she wants to be rich, but it's mainly for her parents. So her parents don't gotta work because if she becomes a hero, she can use her powers to just float. Cause I think they said her parents has like they got a construction company or whatever, but she could just use her powers to just float everything, and she could just give them a vacation. That's what they said they wanted from her. Just give us a vacation, but we want you to do what you want to do. And so like I like her motivation. That's another thing I like about these characters. They have their own like yeah, like other shows, the characters had their motivations, but here it's more or at least in the case of her character, it's really more realistic and very relatable because I'm pretty sure there's people that can relate to that.
Hit the nail on the head.
Okay, so the next thing after that, I believe we're at the big fight. I believe we're at that big fight.
Uh,
The fight
yes,
between Izuku
yes.
Midoriya and Shoto Todoroki. So I
Eesh.
believe the next few episodes was just that, was just those fights. I believe it was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes. That was that one fight. I could be wrong.
No, I think
It
this
felt like it
was
lasted
it.
more
I think
than
that
it felt like it lasted more than 2 episodes at least, but maybe it didn't. I don't know. Not really important the episode length, but let's go ahead and get into this. Now, I got a lot to say about Shoto Todoroki, his family life, the tragic things that happened to him, and then just the fight itself. So, one thing I'll just point out just briefly, because we kind of touched on it before, the stuff about him basically taking Midoriya to the side and saying, "Hey, listen, my father's Endeavor. You might have heard of him. You know, I hate my father. I don't really like that dude." And we get to see flashbacks. We get to see flashbacks the during this fight, and I believe we got some earlier. And they basically allude to his father, well, not his father, but his mother pouring the hot water on him. And man, there's so much going on with this character, and this goes back to what I said about just a few minutes ago, or just a few seconds ago. Very realistic, in the sense that they're tackling you. You might have not realized this, but they're tackling child abuse. They're tackling spousal abuse. They're tackling
uh,
they're tackling themes of I want to say like heritage really, or lineage rather. Like there's so much there. There is so much there. Like this could have easily been a copy almost of the Gaara versus Naruto fight. Because I know there's some people that might want to make that comparison, but it's so much more than that. Because it's not just about a character that's just like misunderstood by by those around him or by somebody in his family. Like if I remember correctly, Gaara was like, wasn't his father trying to kill him or something?
there's something like that.
And like of course everybody in the village, they feared him or whatever. But in like Todoroki's case, like this man got hot water poured on him because his mother was driven insane by his father. Like his father, for him to be the number 2 hero, for him to be a hero, he proves that, like, he kind of proves, and we'll get into this guy later. What's his name? Stain. He proves Stain right. Or like, some of y'all heroes, y'all not heroes. Like, this dude is not a hero. He's not a good guy. There's not somebody that people aspiring to be a hero should look up to. Like, Endeavor is he's a freaking dickhead. Like, he's a horrible human being. And Shoto talks about, he tells Deku about the fact that, yeah, my father basically bought my mother's family so that he can reproduce with her and, you know, take advantage of her quirk. Like, there's no love in his family. And that's probably one of the only correlations or the only kind of comparison you can kind of give to like Todoroki and Gaara. Because if I remember correctly, like I said, I think Gaara's father tried to kill him, but his mother did love him. But it's kind of different here. But yeah, like there was no love in the conception of Shoto. Like there was no love in him being born. Like the sole reason, and they say this, like his father, Endeavor says this multiple times, like, you were born so that you can surpass All Might. You were born to surpass him because I couldn't surpass him. And that's something that is relatable, believe it or not, because there probably are people that, like, let's say you couldn't make it into the NBA and, like, you used to play basketball, you thought you were really good, you thought you could make it into the NBA, but, like, your leg got messed up or whatever, and, like, your son grows up and, like, yo, like, he could possibly be in the NBA, so you're gonna be pushing him and trying to live through him. Like, it's almost that kind of scenario, ain't it?
Wow, yeah.
But I'm kind of breaking it down probably more than what you probably thought. So I'm gonna let you kind of get into it and kind of let you talk about it, and then I'll.
It's weird. It's weird. I just shut up just for a simple fact of the matter. I've never heard you like this heated, but
no,
it's warned.
You gotta realize, like, first of all, I took notes on this a while back when I first watched this episode. When I first was watching those episodes, I just been holding on to it because I told you, I said I can make a whole video on him, Katsuki Bakugo, all that. I said, but I'm gonna put it right in this retrospective. Like, all my thoughts, I'm just gonna put it out there, cause they're like this character and this his character arc. It's amazing. This is why people say the show is so great.
Exactly. But I guess I'll throw my hat in there now. Like I said, it's warranted because Endeavor is a scumbag piece of shit. He is. Like, there's no, like, disputing this at all, and I doubt I'll get any disputes from you about that. I mean, when you really look at this, I think this is Horikoshi's second nod to Avatar, because if you remember Zuko's whole story and why he's after Aang in the first place, it's because he spoke out of turn. And then because he didn't agree with what his father said, thus creating that his father burned him on that side of his face, if you remember.
Oh yeah, and then he got banished from the Fire Nation.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I'm just like, wait a minute. No wonder people fucking compare these two together. So basically, we have the tale of two shitty fathers, basically. And I thought of, like, when we were looking at this flashback, and I was like, hold the hell up. Wait a minute. Did you, as horrible as this is, did you, this is another nod to Avatar, you man? This is another nod to Avatar.
Honestly, because if it is about that.
That makes sense. The scar on his face, the flames that he doesn't use because it reminds him of his father. He won't use his father's power. But in Zuko's case, he really has no choice because he is a firebender. But I see you, Horikoshi. I see you. I see what you're doing. But yeah, no dispute here. Like Endeavor is a fucking scumbag. Like,
He honestly, I was thinking
oh,
about this the other day. He deserves to be locked up. Honestly,
he doesn't deserve any type of hero status at all. He doesn't deserve his rank, but at the number 2 spot behind All Might, he doesn't. He simply doesn't. He doesn't deserve. He doesn't deserve the placement that he has right now. And I don't even think it's just Shoto because there are other there are other kids. There are other
yeah. They showed him. They showed him because he made a point to say because he was talking about quirk marriages, which are basically arranged marriages, and so like they showed in the flashback like he has a bunch of siblings like, and a lot of them like I think there was like 2 or 3 of them that didn't even have the fire quirk. There were some of them that looked like they were just all like his mother, and they were playing around. And his father told him, "Don't worry about them. They're in a different world. You're in a different world than them. You don't worry about them playing around over there. I'm gonna teach you how to be a hero." That's basically what he said to him in the flashback. Like the only other sibling that we see that looks like him is what looks like his older sister. Which I'm guessing maybe her quirk didn't really manifest. Maybe.
But here's another thing. And then I'll go back. I'll go back to the fight. I'll go back to the fight. People have even stated this, like when Dabi first appeared. I'm going ahead for a reason. That Dabi is the older brother of Shoto, and Dabi is a big example on what Endeavor has done to these kids. But it's not confirmed.
I would like that.
But it's not confirmed. People have made countless theories on this, but if Horikoshi actually comes out and does a chapter on this and it's confirmed, that would be, it's like, yeah, it's the most obvious go-to, it's the most obvious link you can do because of the scars on his face and the flames and everything about him, and they do look alike. They do somewhat look alike. So if this actually happens, then it's like, yeah, I can accept this because look at what Endeavor's done to Shoto already. Look at what he's done to his other kids.
I mean, who's to say that that wasn't like his marriage to Shoto's mother? Who's to say that wasn't like his first marriage or like his first time where like he paid somebody to conceive with someone else?
Yeah, his first failure. What if Dabi was his actual first failure? And there's a reason they don't talk about him. Reason why they haven't had any interaction. He's saving this for like a big reveal. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, so kind of getting back into the fight because we kind of talked around the fight, but we gotta get into the fight now.
Get back to the fight though. I'll start. I'll do it.
Yes, please do, because I think you're better at describing fights more than I am, to be honest.
Okay, basically Midoriya pretty much tries to like say, hey, you need to use that other side of you. Then you need to use that other side of your quirk. I want you to go all out. And these two keep going at each other. Midoriya keeps blowing out more of his limbs, more of his fingers, more of those little air palms that he does. That's a perfect word for it. That is the perfect name for that. And he's basically saying, bring it on, bitch. You're not beating me unless you give me everything. And I'm talking about that other side of you. Give that side to me. I want it. So he's basically just like setting himself up to lose. So when Todoroki actually eventually does do it, actually after the whole speech, that is your power. That is not his power. Yes, he may have done that to you, but that is your power for you to control. That is your fucking power, dude. Basically, that sets him off. Shoto is now taking the fire side in him, these two put everything into what they have left, and
Just big
I love how
explosion, man. Big explosion.
the cement dude tries to prevent this because even like Midnight, pretty much everyone else knows. It's like the Proctors pretty much knows. Like, okay, they're gonna kill each other unless someone tries to break this shit up now. Doesn't happen. Basically, after the dust settles,
I think there were
Midori.
I think Cementos, he basically he kind of weakened the effect of the blast because both of their attacks clashing.
Yeah.
So that's basically what he did.
Yeah. And that was awesome. After that, like they said, the smoke settled. Midoriya got ring out. Shota wins. It's like you would expect like Midoriya to have won that, but no. It's like one of those instances where it's like, yeah, a bunch of W's, and I'm okay with this. Like,
yeah, it's one of those.
If I were to see this,
go ahead.
if I were to see this like back when I was a teenager, I probably would have been like, "Oh, it's bullshit! It's bullshit! He should have won this shit, man! It's bullshit!" or something like that. Go ahead.
Now, well, all I was gonna say was like this is just another instance of him. Like he could have won. He could have won. All he had to do was just shut up and just fight the dude. Like, cause keep in mind he didn't damage him at all, really. Like it was Deku. It was Deku damaging himself because he was using his quirk. But, you know, he was being defensive the whole time. I mean, Todoroki couldn't really do anything to him. Or wasn't really doing much to him. But the thing is, all he had to do was shut up. And he probably would have won the match.
Yeah, because he brought down himself, like I said.
I mean, once again, he got in his own way, just like in the first match. And then that's when, you know, All Might, you know, afterwards, All Might is like, meddling is the essence of being a hero. And Midoriya takes that to heart in the next season, you know, what he's going to do. You know, he'll take that to heart. And then, so like, after that fight, I believe, let me see what happened after that fight. I think, if I remember correctly, it was Ida's fight after that. It was Ida versus, who did Ida fight?
Ida fought, I think, Todoroki at it. Oh yeah, he did fight Todoroki after this.
He did.
So fought Bird Boy, who we completely curb stomped.
Yeah, so I guess we'll cover Tenya versus. Yeah, hold on. Let me make sure. That's right. Hold on. I'm looking this up right now. I'm just making sure that is right. Oh no. So the next fight was Tenya versus the chick with the plants, Shiozaki. And that was a very quick fight. Now she could have actually done more than what she did. Cause she turned around and used her, cause she has to use her hair or whatever. She turned around and used her hair. And then all Ida did was like go, if I remember correctly, all he did was like run to the back of her or whatever, just like push her out of the ring. It's like you could have done more than that. She probably could have beat him.
Bro. But we'll be behind that.
But yeah, that was a quick fight there. But then I believe after that was Tokiyami versus Katsuki Bakugo. And you can take that one.
What? I can take this. What?
Yeah, you can go ahead and describe that fight because I gotta get something back up. I gotta get the page back up that I was looking at. I was referring to. My bad.
The Bago and the Bago and Shota fight.
Nah, Bakugo versus Tokiyama. You know that was, I believe, that
Oh
was the
my
next
god.
fight.
Oh my god. Okay, basically Bago freaking completely curbs off this man. He basically like fires a bunch of blasts on him. His shadow can't keep up. His shadow is his quirk. The giant shadow that he can call upon and shit. We forgot to mention that.
It's Dark Shadow.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it needs a bunch of light, and Bago's quirk gives off a bunch of light. It needs a bunch of darkness to sustain itself, and with Bago constantly berating it, it can't protect him and deal any damage. So
plus it's weaker. Plus it's weak in the daytime also.
And so what happens? Bago completely curb stomps him. Basically makes him submit. I'm talking got him in the dirt, grabs his beak, face, and everything. I'm like, oh god, you did not have to embarrass him this bad. I get it, but shit, did you really have to go completely overboard with it? Worse, but still, you just embarrassed this man in front of his family and everything. He got to the semifinals and you just had to curb stomp him like that. That's terrible. Anyway, this is the main event now.
I know, because I think we missed the fight with Bakugo versus Kirishima, and basically with that, Kirishima trying to constantly use his hardening, trying to keep his quirk stable so that he can, not get damaged by Bakugo's attacks. And in every fight, this is something that I also have to mention. In every fight, with Bakugo, everything is so definite. It's so definitive. Die, die, die! I'll kill you! Everything. So when he's fighting Kirishima, he's just die, die, and just using his explosions and stuff. And so, Bakugo obviously wins. And, okay, so after that fight, because I think after that fight is the Todoroki versus Bakugo fight. And I know you really want to talk about that, so I'm going to let you go ahead and do that, because I think there aren't any more fights after that. I'll look up, and if there is another fight, we can we can talk about that. But I'll let you go ahead and talk about the Bakugo versus Todoroki fight.
Because this is the main event. There is no more fights after this. I'm pretty sure Bakugo came out the womb saying die. I'm pretty sure his first word was die.
Well, he brushes his teeth and says, die, dirty germs, die.
He says die, germs, when he's brushing his daggone teeth. And that alone was this kid has been overdue for anger management class. Damn it. Anyway, main event time. Bago wants Todoroki to give him the exact same thing that Todoroki gave Ikazu, meaning he wants to see the flames. He wants him to go all out just like he did for Ikazu. And it's a clash of ice versus bombs. And it pretty much goes how you expect it to. Except mid-fight when Bago's about to do his special Hauser EX attack, where he basically goes up in the air, he launches himself in the air, and
spins around.
Becomes a damn fire tornado.
They described it. I think they described it as basically him becoming a missile.
It is Hauser EX. He expects Todoroki he blasts him back with flames. He's about to, but then he has another memory of his dad, and it's just he doesn't do it.
He kind of just lost the will to fight.
He just
unsure
loses it.
Yeah, he was unsure of himself.
So he basically just Yeah, so he basically like takes the brunt of the attack, ends up on like a bed of his own ice, and he's knocked out. And by the time Bago realizes this, is like, oh hell no! Wait a minute! No, 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 no! I don't want to win like this. No. Why the hell didn't you go all out? Why? This is a bullshit win. I don't want this win. So basically, this is his whole like mindset for the rest of
he grabs him. He's like, man, if you don't get up, like he's about to kill this man. And so Midnight had to, make him fall to sleep.
And so when he finally wakes up, it won't help if he's already dead thanks to that. Anyway,
he's like, hey, I love his reaction. So hold on. So I love the reaction when, after he does his attack, and he notices that he's lying on the ground, and he notices all he sees is all this ice and stuff. No fire came out or anything. He's like, hey, this isn't over. This isn't over. But I did get something wrong. We actually, Katsuki's fight with his fight with Kirishima was before the Fumikage fight, so my bad. And we also did miss the Shoto versus Tenya fight. We did miss that. It totally slipped my mind. Again, I don't know how I forget these things, and I literally just watched.
Dude, I mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier.
You did? Okay, my bad. Cause I'm steadily trying to look this up to make sure that we're not missing anything. So I might have accidentally tuned you out. My bad. Trying to make sure you get everything. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, brother.
All right. So we got that. So that was the end of the sports festival. And of course, at the end, All Might comes out, and he's there to present the medals to the winners and everything. Of course, Ida had to leave because his brother, he got a call that his brother was basically injured by the hero killer Stain, and so he had to leave. And he technically won third place with Tokiyami, and of course, Bakugo is still freaking pissed to the point where they had to chain this man, and he's just acting like a feral dog. And Tokiyami basically points that out and everything. And so, yeah, that was it for the I'm about to say Chunin exams, but that was it for the sports festival. Very good.
Basically, and. Also, one thing you forgot to mention is that when All Might showed up, Bago was fucking chained up to his award pedestal.
That's what I said. He was chained up like a feral animal. What did I say? That's what I thought I said, or at least that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Basically takes his shit off his mouth and is like, "No, get that shit away! Get that trash off me! Get that trash off me!" Metal. I ain't earned this. Point that out. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, I completely agree with you. This was a brilliant way to freaking as a part one to season 2. This was, oh my god. Yeah, no complaints here.
Yeah, this honestly could have been the season, and then they could have saved the hero killer stuff for another season. Because at first, when I was first seeing the second season, I thought it was going to be just another 12 episodes, but turns out they cut it basically into 2 parts. And so I thought that this was an excellent start for it. And then the next thing we got to cover is the hero killer arc.